Hi traders. So I wanted to do another market recap for you for the 24th of July. Haven't been doing too many of these for the past week, just been very busy getting everything together with the website and that. But have been trading still. And in terms of this day, this is actually a really interesting one. It's obviously, summer trading. There's not a lot happening. The ranges are tight. And this is a day which would probably be a nightmare for a lot of traders, where we basically covered about a 55 pip range or so from European session through to the early New York session. And until just recently here, because I just wrapped up trading, it's actually broken a little bit lower. But it's been very, very tight action. And for a lot of traders out there, they're looking for big swings or trends, and that's how they trade. And they make their money during those times when the market is making those big moves. But then in markets like these, when things are tight and they're just swinging back and forth, they get absolutely chopped up and they basically lose everything they make in those big trends for a lot of them anyways. This is the sort of thing that we can really thrive on, because not only can we trade in those trends, but we can also trade in these really tight, kind of ugly markets. And that's one of the great things about range bars, especially something like 3 pip range bars, because they are so small and because they break the action down into such small units, we can really trade this stuff with a lot of accuracy, really time it well. And as you'll see, it was a little bit tough even early on in the European session until I kind of got going. And I had quite a few trades though today. Had 10 trades, 6 wins, 2 break even, 2 losses. 57 pips is what I made. And I actually should have done quite a bit better than that. As you're going to see in this section in here, I really did a poor job with my management. Could have done a lot better. Ended up with 2 pips on that whole thing. So we'll cover that. But, all right, so I'm basically giving a little bit more information here than I did on the previous recaps. This is a lot closer to what I do with my Elite Range Bar system with people who are going through the course with the very extended recaps that I do. I'm doing something a lot closer to that. But to start with here, we had a type 3 long, one of our setups that we use for basically reversal trading. That one didn't work out, came back pretty quick, and I just took a partial loss there, because on these reversal ones, if they don't work out, you generally don't want to take a full loss. And usually a full loss, we just have, entry 1 pip beyond the entry bar, stop 1 pip below, so a max loss of 5 to 6 pips on these sorts of trades. I usually like to take a little bit less than that. So here I took -4 when it came back on me. There was no chance here with the thumbs down, wanting to get long in this. There was no chance to do so, unfortunately. So we missed out on that action. And then we ended up having news in here right after, half an hour after London Open. And that's why we have this big bar here, because that's price basically spiking during the news action. But I did try to take a continuation on the news, and we have it properly timed here for, this is actually a type 1. One of the nice things with the range bar setups that we use is we can really time the entry properly so that we don't get in too early and we don't have that drawdown. But in this case, I gave it a little bit of a time. I let it chop around a little bit, and I tightened up my stop mentally about halfway. But when it basically just kept bottoming out down here, I did go to break even. It turned out that was just came back and then came down for me. To the point where maybe I would have taken profit in here at 2100 or maybe a bit lower. I did take a 1 SP. It's a type 1 variation that we use, and could have had a few pips on that as well, but once again I thought that one might actually break a little bit lower, and so I left it, and it ended up coming back. And so basically we had a kind of a reversal, a trend turn setup that came up, and that caused me to get out of that position rather than going to break even or anything like that. I just got out and then reversed it. And so you can see here that in these 2 shorts, basically I had the potential on these based on my initial entry of about anywhere from, 16 to 20 pips or so that I could have had, and I ended up getting 2. So I wouldn't say that the management was necessarily bad, just something that I do. I'm very risk averse. I don't want to take many losses, many big losses. And so I did, go to break even here where it could have been a winner. I took just a very small win here when I could have took a bit bigger because I do want to have a good risk reward. So, you kind of give up a little bit in something like this, but it generally pays off for me later in terms of having very small losses and then also having a pretty good risk reward. So I did take this reversal and got the long, which turned out to be a pretty nice move off the 2100. And this one I just banked in here because I had my reasons in terms of some of our trade management strategies that we use, but especially because of the way that this morning had gone for me so far. I was down 2 pips after a couple hours of trading, and so I definitely wanted to get some pips banked when we got to an extreme, and so I just took the 17 pips that were available there. I did attempt a continuation, and again this one came back on me. I could tell pretty quick, just based on experience, gut instinct, this one was not going to go when it barely broke and came back. The move was just kind of dead, and so I just took the -4. I could have taken a full loss of -5 or -6, but I just got out early and decided I would look for the next trade. And then I did manage to get a short, again off a nice pattern that we look for, and took that one. Actually, this one I took initially down to this level, and I was actually thinking about banking my pips just as it came down here, and then it bounced up on me, and so that opportunity was missed. And I started to think, okay, well maybe I could bank in here, but I'll probably try and let it come down one more time, and it just kind of kept coming up. And so I decided at that point it had gone too far. I had this thing initially where it came to about plus 14 pips or so. I think it was about plus 13 because spread is included in all this stuff in terms of my profit made. So I was about 13 pips up or 14 pips up, and no way I was going to let that come back for a loss. So I did go to break even, and I got pretty lucky here. As you can see, I think I was just a pip or two away with the spread from getting taken out. And I basically let it come all the way down to that level again, and when it bounced off of it, I took my pips. And turns out I could have done a little bit better, but I had had enough at that point. You can see at the M5 that basically with this trade, I had been holding it for a long time, basically pretty much an hour at that point, and I was more than happy just to get out of that, take the pips. And I was also thinking about the possibility of wanting to take a little bit of a break before New York because it was London lunch, but I also could see this setting up as a possible rejection here, so I stuck around, and I did end up finding along another 1 SP pattern, and I took that one long into here. Once again, took my pips fairly quick, and that was just because it is London lunch. I don't expect any sort of big moves really. Occasionally they happen right on 11 o'clock, or right on the hour, but not usually after that until New York opens, or New York Open 1. There was the possibility of a short in here, which I did not take because I was taking a break after I banked those pips. And basically didn't find much of anything all the way through until there was maybe a very aggressive long in here, not something I took. That is a possibility, one of our more advanced trades, but I was not looking for that one. And I did take another type 1 long in here, which I basically just got 5 pips on because I saw once again another reversal pattern setting up based on some things that we use for extra evidence that's not really on these charts for taking those counter trend trades, the more advanced trades. So I got out there with the 5 pips, less than I would normally take, but that's just because I'm banking it and reversing it. And took that one down, didn't get anything on that one, came back on me, break even. And then I took another short, one final short here. Basically a New York Stock Exchange open kind of just after the aftermath of that, and seeing that things weren't pushing up, so taking a short, which ended up working out pretty well for 15 pips. And then you can see since then that we did actually break a little bit lower on the day, and now we're just kind of chopping around. But usually I want to be done basically right around this time here, a little bit after New York Stock Exchange opens, so I'm not too interested in the afternoon. A lot of the people who do trade this stuff, they do trade later in the New York session and do quite well with it. But for me, it's just European session only for the most part. So hope you enjoyed the recap. Sorry it was a little bit long. Just wanted to give you some extra detail on things. And yeah, look forward to keeping some of these up for you for people who are interested in learning more about range bar trading and kind of seeing it in action, because I know there's a lot of people out there who have never really traded range bars before. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.